as we get into this live tonight, our second one of today, as we get closer and closer to the daily close, which will be in about an hour and 42 minutes. By the time we get done with this live, there will be about an hour or so left until the daily close. So we'll do our best to look through the charts, see exactly what's starting to set up here today. As XRP's in an interesting spot right now, there's no doubt about it. We're still over the short-term pattern breakout after the cup and handle that we broke out of. This is the consolidation immediately after that. And this is what's going to decide whether or not we end up coming back down and testing the breakout of that cup and handle, or end up going up unabated here into these next higher tiers, which would bring us in the short term up to that 373 range. And then overall, it would continue our climb up towards that $5.39 or $6.49 cycled high that I was thinking before we started this rally, when we were still in the mid 50s, 40s. So that's where I think we're heading. There's no way of telling, though, if we're, as of right now, if we're going to find the volume to break out of here, if we need to come all the way back down and back test this around $2.90 or so. We can see a golden cross in process, but volume is coming down. So we didn't really get any sustainable volume, but you know, that can change in a heartbeat if we end up getting a surge in volume. So we'll have to see how this ends up developing here as the day goes on, the week goes on, especially. And as we get closer to the end of this, you know, this run here before rate cuts, which we assume will happen on the 17th. There's a 2-day meeting, 16th to 17th. But we're assuming that we should get a rate cut, and all avenues are pointing to at least 50 basis points. Anything under 50 wouldn't be good. You can't come out and just say 25 basis points if you want it to affect risk assets and things like that. So, you know, that's definitely something to be watching. I'm excited about this juncture. Eventually, we're going to end up finding our bottom. It's just unfortunately, like we talked about earlier today, the weekly is starting to get itself under control. The daily's overbought right now. And you're just in an interesting time loop right now. Because you've got like the weekly was way overbought here just in mid-July. So it's done a good job over the last 2 months of dumping down, clearing this out. On July 21st, the the stochastic was all the way up at 95. That's outrageous. What I wanted to see was this to continue to be rejected by this, you know, trend line, at least the resistance support structure, and then actually the price line, you know, the actual movement, which is the blue line. I want it to ride all the way into oversold and end up pushing towards a massive breakout. That if I could do this myself, I would have this come back down to $1.89, swing around and do something like this, because it would give us the ultimate, assuming that it didn't break down further. But then you come up and you do this, and then you swiggle out. That's where I think you could get your maximum capacity, because then you're back testing this structure right here, which was the handle on a cup and handle. We haven't tested out the back test on the wick areas. We have in the body area, but not in the wick area. You know, it just depends how you set this up. From the weekly, you can see how extended out it is and how you haven't had quite a back test. So that's what we're trying to decide right now. Does it come back down? And this pattern is just overzealous and it breaks back through. Do we back test this golden cross in the 4 hourly at 294? No, 292 area, 293. Or can we come back down here and at least back test, you know, the breakout move? That's what we're going to have to do at the very least. So that should put us somewhere around $2.88, $2.90. And we'll see if we can get some kind of positive flow here. You know, that's what we're looking at right now. And I'm doing this live. I'm going to try to be a little quieter because my son's sleeping. He had a good day at school. Somebody in his class, though, had like 104 fever when they went home. So, you know, we'll see what happens there. As you know, he was sick on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, not sick, but he was congested and stuff. Had to stay home yesterday because from trying to eat when he was a little congested, it caused him to throw up. But the school has a rule, 24 hours. When you throw up, you can't go. So he didn't go yesterday. He went today. He had his best day so far for going full days. So hopefully, you know, he's already been going through what the other student, was not feeling so good about, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. You know how it is when kids go back to school. There's always sick kids in the school, so it's like Russian roulette. You don't know what's gonna happen. So, but I'm glad he's sleeping. He was very happy when he got home. Ate a little bit, but he was a happy boy. But we'll see how that progresses. Hopefully I can update you guys with good news tomorrow that his classmate is doing a little bit better. Obviously, I don't expect to see his classmate for probably the rest of the week. But we'll see. Let me say hi to some of you. Ben B, Frankie Frost, Joseph Euler, and Amanda. Welcome in, and thank you all 4 of you for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. Ringneck, good evening. Dan Marginal, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 2nd month of the Dusty Dinos Crypto News. I've been a little congested the last few days. From the drainage, my throat's a little doesn't hurt, but it's a little bit sensitive. I don't have tonsils or adenoids, so when my throat's sore, it's usually from drainage. But anyhow, I digress. King Day, good evening. Stephen G, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Mosey here in Cape Cod, Kyle from Massachusetts. Thank you both for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Yes, Taco Tuesday was the day. They were absolutely spectacular. We did nachos today instead. We hadn't done it in a while. And we made shaved steak instead of hamburger. And Julie cut it up real fine. And then we had it on nachos. She cooked and then I did the dishes. Well, I helped plate. I always like to help plate. I like to plate everything so everybody can kind of be treated like queens and so on and so forth. Just send it, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 2nd month with the Dusty Dinos Crypto News. Florida Attorney and Arelli, welcome in. Mark Caston, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. The Cannabis Podcast, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Mike Oxmiles, welcome in, says, hell yes, Thomas, I am here tonight, sweet sugar plum. Tonight I have prepared my possum skin and some chicken noodle soup to watch your show on the big screen. You never can quite tell how somebody's going to be watching the show, but that's an interesting way to do it. That's an image I won't be able to get out of my head in the near future. But hey, I appreciate you sharing and the fact that you're comfortable enough to be watching us in your possum skin thong with some chicken noodle soup. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan tonight, and you've got one. Let's see. Andrew, good evening. Hey, Tom, looks like I had it. It could. It absolutely could be. It's funny when you start looking at this in the weekly, you can see the possibility. It's just, I don't know if it's going to play out. But it definitely is showing signs that, we got to get some upward pressure. Let's just put it this way. We've got to get some upward pressure at minimum, or the maximum it can push down is like 288. If it pushes down any farther than that, you're back in, sorry, with my son when he's a little, under the weather. I don't sleep much. But anyhow, it's in a weird spot here. We can't afford to fall below $2.88. We want to make sure we stay above that level. Otherwise, if we fall down below, we'll end up back in this pattern consolidation. And that could trigger a drop all the way down. Even if we maintain our bullishness back down to that 278 zone. And we don't want to fall below 270. If you lose $2.70, that's, in my opinion, that's a catastrophic zone that we'd rather not test that. Make XRP great again. Isn't Mike the best? Oh, I love it. Some might think it's strange, but I embrace it. I like it. Terry Hayes, welcome in. Bassman, good evening. Good to see you as well, my friend. It really makes me happy to see all of you in here. It does. CJ2 Pilot, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. And hopefully nobody's seeing ads. Now that it's been going on in the stream for like 10 minutes, I found where the problem was when they re-updated the terms of services. They turned on the ads for live. So I have to go in before every live when I'm doing it and just make sure to turn it off. So I did it on this one. So there shouldn't be any live up there, any ads in the live. I prefer to forego that hour of ad revenue. I can always turn the ads back on when it gets put out after the live, but I don't like watching lives when ads are interrupting me, so it bothered me earlier that they were turned on. So hopefully it's not coming on now. I'd be killing it. I have not watched a fight in a long time, honestly. Ever since like the sports betting and everything, it just feels different. Everything, even sports are hard to watch. I'll be honest. Everything's getting a little hard to watch. So I don't think I will. I'll try CJ2 Pilot. Thank you for being in Town's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Says hello everyone. Tom, if you have time, please look at XCN. I'll do my best to remember that. I promise. Promise. I just got to make sure I get through. Well, I could probably do it. Daniel Milica, welcome in. And thanks for being in Town's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. Been working a weird shift. Glad I caught your live. Me too, Daniel. I'm glad to see you in here. It's always good to see you in here. But hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do to pay the bills and get ahead. So I respect the fact that you're willing to work those weird shifts. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people that in today's age that would rather, you know, let the government try to take care of them than step in. So it's admirable nowadays when people are working. Sore Loser says, thanks for all you do, Tom. I recall my kids catching colds and bugs at school, then shared with me it builds up their immunity. They are healthy now, but yes, it's a hard. Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping he built up some immunity too by being sick on, you know, coming home from school. Well, I mean, he stayed in school, but he was sick on Friday. So hopefully he built up some. But yeah, Mr. Pop Bud, welcome in along with Josh Jolly. Thanks for both for me and Tom Zummer for your second month with Dust House Crypto News. And I agree, Mr. Popcorn Bud. Rigged entertainment is still entertainment. It's true. It's true. How's it going, boy? Good? That's true. Good evening. 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. The same great state of Michigan where the Fighting Wolverines got their ass kicked. You know, in Oklahoma. Didn't look so good. But, you know, it's early in the season, freshman quarterback, yada, 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 but they still look like ass. The only thing that was nice about that game was I got to hold my championship belts, but other than that, it was not a very fun game. Am I buying MXC again? No. One, because I'm transitioning a lot of stuff. Like, I can't use crypto.com with the extraordinary fees to buy and sell something. So I hadn't been for a while. And it's a killer with those fees. So I've been actively moving stuff away now that I have the Kraken, even though I don't really like the Kraken. But they do have XDC, and I can at least limit some of my fees up to $10,000 a month with Kraken Pro, but I'm still not a fan of it. You know, in the highest regard, let's just say. But they do have some things that I like, but let's see. I don't think they had... Well, they do have MXC, I'll be damned. But they have... They have it the same way. It's funny, because theirs is the same way as Crypto.com's. And you see the pricing's at 169, right? That's the Kraken one. But then when you look at the other ones, the real Moon Chain, you know, it was up 80-something% today, but it's up 50%. I mean, it's had a catastrophic drop, obviously. But you see the pricing's at 0.0084. The one on Kraken is not at the same price. So, you know, I don't know what's going on there. But it's definitely, that is not the same price. So I don't even know if that's the same Moon Chain. I can't be. That price isn't right. So make sure you pay attention there, because that's not the right one. It can't be. It's just something that caught my attention earlier. It was a little bothersome. So that's when I say there's a lot of exchanges. They might look like they have the token you want, but it's not actually the same token. You can see the differential in volume even. You know, so be careful with all that. But no, for those reasons, I am not buying MXC. But yeah. Votodamus was hidden by... Why is Votodamus hidden? I don't understand. He shouldn't be hidden. What happened? He's been in here for a hell of a long time. That must have been an accident. It's got to be an accident. Unhide user on this channel. Nope, I got it. No, it happens. Trust me, I hit the wrong buttons all the time. No, you're fine, Syrian. Thank you for being a very trusted mod, Syrian. No, I unhid you, Votodamus. I got eyes everywhere on my head. Except on the left side. That one doesn't work too good. But no, I seen it. You're unhidden, Votodamus. I promise. We took care of it on the spot. Syrian would have too. She realized it. Thank you all for both of you being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. And Syrian, thanks for being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Mr. Bank Foreclosure, welcome in. Is Bitcoin coming down or up? We're going to look at that right now. Down or sideways? We can look at that right now. It's one thing I wanted to look at as well during this live. Anthony Venegas, welcome in. Crypto Plumber 589, good evening. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Let's see. I think I got everybody. Live in Riches, welcome in. Live in Riches. Yeah, I got it. I got everybody. So, Bitcoin, it certainly has a strong possibility of coming back down, but if we can break up past 114,000, let's go to real time. Get rid of this. Let's go to real time. 114,678. We've got to get back above. Then we can start extending out where this rising wedge area is, because we've got, like, in order to invalidate this pattern, we've got to get over it. You have to get over it. There is no excuse. You can't justify it any other. You have to get over it. So we're going to continue to move up, but we're got to get up above that resistance that's formed on that uptrending resistance now. Actually, it's a little, whoops. Shit. Hold on. This has to be, nah, that's pretty good. Nah, that doesn't seem right. So we're trying to tip that. We're trying to get the tip. We're not worried about trying to give it the highest. We want to see the lowest end first. So like 121K. So first we got to get past, well, the fucked up part is first we have to get past the 200-day, which we failed at 112,677. So we got 112,700, 114,700, and then 121,000 to push out of these areas. Anything shy of getting over first 112,700 is very catastrophic if we break down farther. But anything shy of getting over 114.7, we've got a problem. Because then even that short-term tug can't happen. I'm topping reversal there. You've already got a left shoulder form where I circled. It would be horrendous if this is actually forming a right shoulder in this area. So if we see it go, and then it drops, I mean, you can basically see the similar. It'd be a similar. And then if it falls out, now you're talking reset. Now you're coming back into the consolidation zone. I mean, basically, if it breaks this, you're looking at that FVG at 91 and solidly the technical target at 81 to reset. But then it's like, why would we come back down there? I always like to have a reason why. Well, I mean, that's the technical drop out of this rising wedge is 81.5. And then you can see how it would form like a channel there. So we've already put that out there. So just in case that's what's happening. You know, just in case. We're extremely oversold in the weekly. Remember that. Extremely oversold. Like, I mean, extremely. Monthly's in a good spot. If I'm being honest, it's like right at neutral. However, this monthly candle is not pretty. Let me get rid of some of this stuff so you can see what I'm saying. That is a horrendous candle. Not only is the pressure to the lower side of the halfway point, that looks like a gravestone doji to me. And if that's the case, that's a problem. That means we have a lot of bottom end pressure, and this is going to end up going down before we go up in the near term. Defined Group, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor, a very trusted bot in here and in the Telegram. Yeah, give him some grace. He was gone for a couple weeks, different countries, so he's just starting to get back his bearings. So it's nice to see you in here, my friend. John London, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. Wow. That's unfreaking believable. Frankie Fresh, I know I said ID. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor along with Jacoby. But also, Frankie Fresh, give Janine my love. I'm so glad that she's watching, and I know that you're a dynamic duo. Dynamic duo crushing it together the only way that we can. Make XRP great again. To smash the like button, people. Tom is the motherfucking best. I appreciate that. Along with the other 103 of you watching, we've got 50 likes out of 103, so about 49%. I think this is worth about 75% likes at minimum, but what do I know? So yeah, that's a gravestone doji. If you don't know what a gravestone doji is, it looks like, and we got to read this real quick after. Looks like peace. Whoop, not a gravestone. We'll all be in our gravestone at some point, but not yet. I hate when they do it when it pulls all the way down because it technically... Yeah, see, this is... That's a traditional doji. There's a long leg doji, dragonfly gravestone. So I guess it's just a doji reversal then. Because it did pull down a little bit farther, I suppose. We call it a doji. Now it's going to depend on the close too. Man, I like when they show the gravestone in a different capacity. Like, maybe I could find one. I like when they show it with some grace. For some reason, the newer charts that they do now, you see the gravestone, it's always at the bottom. But I kind of look at them a little bit different than just that bottom. It's funny how things change over the years when you're doing analysis. Because the pressure's on the bottom. I mean... Well, I guess if we want to go with the definition, we'll just call it a doji. But a doji is a reversal candle if it ends up with the way it is right now. Like, that doesn't look great. That weekly looks horrible right now. We still got 5 days, though, so things can happen. The good news is the weeklies are massively oversold. The bad news is the moving average convergence divergence is just stepping off a cliff right now. It's legitimately sliding off a cliff. So there's always that. We are sliding off a cliff here. So, but we are massively oversold. Like, we are massively oversold on Bitcoin. And the weekly, monthly's breaking, little bearish in the neutral, but the monthly, that's like a doji reversal right there. So, I mean, got some work to do here. We got some work to do here in the crypto. Like, there is no doubt about it. We've got some work to do. But, I mean, with how oversold we are in the smaller time frames, these are the recipes that can spark 25, 30% movements. Because it's so oversold. If we don't break the next layer and we actually hold this attempted breakout, this is where we could have a significant structural demand. And it can hold, and then we can push up to at least that 330 to 373 range if we get hot. Even if it's not meant to break all the way through. These are those areas. John London, you are welcome, my friend. And like I said, thank you for being in Tom's Army over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. Says, thank you. Can't believe you still come on every day. I know a lot of people are in awe of the dedication. I've been doing this since March 24th of 2021. And I haven't missed a day. I know the longer we go on here, the crazier that statistic sounds. Because a lot of stuff has happened in that time. A lot of stuff. But, you know, consistency breeds a response, and the response is how you get the gathering, and the gathering is how you get the intel. And when you get the intel, and you get the right intel, nobody can really trick you anymore. Ethereum, another one that looks like it's sitting there. One of two things are going to happen with Ethereum. One, it's getting ready to have a huge breakout. Or two, we're getting ready to break down and retest those lower boundaries. And it could be all the way down to 3,493. It hasn't happened yet. We never back tested. And, you know, I think we should raise it just a little bit. Not because we're trying to cheat it, but just because I think it's appropriate, because that wick right there is a little higher. So 3,548, I know it doesn't help much. But that weekly is massively overbought right now and breaking bearish. And Ethereum. The monthly is overbought. It's not as overbought. It could still lead for another push. I'm just saying we're in that area where, you know, we needed to clear out a little bit. The good news is we cleared out a lot. And the 4-hourly was overbought not too long ago, a couple weeks ago. So that helps. For the last few weeks it was overbought. Now it's actually cleared itself out. We're riding this support structure at that 4,308. If we can hold that, it opens up the door back to the resistance over above. Even if we're not bullish, back up to 4,400 plus area. But we did form this little channel underneath the rising wedge. So, like I've been saying, there's a strong possibility that if you see this breakout of 4,416, even if this is bearish, that it's got to come back up to that $4,842 range. So that is still a very strong possibility. So I'm seeing opportunities setting up. You know, look at IOTA, massively oversold in the 2-hourly. Golden Cross in the 2-hourly. Massively well, not quite in the 4-hourly. I guess we would have to see how that continues to break. Weekly's back in neutral. Monthly, pushing towards neutral. So we've cleared out a lot. Daily's pushing up, still looking fine. What are they? I hate those things. We got flying ants out in Michigan. Great. They're invading us now. Humzo, welcome in, and thanks for being in. Tom Zombie for the 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Says, only person I listen to, most consistent YouTuber, TA on point. Love you, brother. I love you too, my friend. I love you back. I'm so glad you've been here for as long as you have. You've been here for quite some time now. You got to see some cycles transpire now, which is nice. So, I mean, if I'm looking at this, we've got a lot of things that are pointing in the direction of we could have a short squeeze here. Now, does that come before another substantial drop? It could. See what the total 3 says. I mean, we're massively oversold. In the 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour. No, 4 hours still not oversold yet. Shit. That's where it could catch us up. And the weekly's massively overbought still. Fuck. See, that's where I think we're getting held up at. That weekly needs a dump. A little bit more. It really needs at some point. It just, you know, with rate cuts coming on the 17th, I want to see us sell the rumor by the news, which would mean we would dump going into rate cuts. And once the news is out officially, everybody pours in. That's what I would like to see. Because then you clear things up and it's a perfect recipe for a massive surge. What I don't want to see is a buy the rumor, sell the news. So basically everybody's buying it up. We get these 30 to 40% movements, maybe from the bottom. And all of a sudden on the 17th, you hear 25 or 50 basis points, and it's not enough for the jollies to be enriched. And then we get a big dump. And because the RSI and the stochastic and the moving average convergence divergence will be out of whack with top heavy pressure without proper clearance, it'd be a perfect recipe for a big dump. So I want to set this up in the way that it does the best. Crypto Cooter, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor and being a very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. Says just got home from work and finished up some fencing, but better late than never. Absolutely. Absolutely. We've had a lot of stuff to do around the house or outside even too. Not fencing, but put up a little structure. But I want to read something before I forget. So XRP price prediction. Ripple C. So this is going back into the scams we've been talking about a lot. So Ripple CTO issues urgent scam warning. Are holders being set up for a rug? Interesting. So XRP has climbed back to $3 as a deep fake scam targeting Ripple CTO sparks concern across the community, raising fresh questions for the XRP price prediction. A video impersonating David Schwartz has made its rounds around social media, forcing the executive to issue a public warning about potential scams. While XRP's price action remains strong, the emergences of such impersonation attempts could test investor confidence and influence short-term momentum. Maybe. Trading volumes for XRP have increased by 15% in the past 24 hours as the token reached this critical price mark. Schwartz's warning comes to join several alerts issued by Ripple itself about an uptick in this kind of incident on YouTube. An X post published on July 23rd warned the fraudsters are hacking accounts on the video sharing platform and renamed them to Ripple. Once they get access to these accounts, they publish deep fakes from company officials asking the public to send their digital assets to certain wallets to steal their funds. The daily chart shows XRP testing the upper boundary of a descending triangle, a critical level that could determine its next major move. With bullish momentum accelerating, a breakout above this resistance could pave the way for a retest of this year's high near $3.65, a key target in the current XRP price prediction. If this breakout is accompanied by rising volume, it would strengthen the case for bullish XRP price prediction. Momentum indicators are also turning positive. The RSI has climbed above its 14-day moving average, often seen as a buy signal, and XRP continues to trade above the 200-day exponential moving average despite recent market pullbacks. With altcoin season in full swing, investors are bracing to find the next big up. Now, we're not in full swing yet, but we're definitely pushing on there. So that's the little warning that was going on. But there's a lot of this stuff going on. It's annoying. That's why I had that live caller call in so that you can hear a story in real time. It's no fun. Neighbors have their property for sale, so trying to knock out the fence before it sells. Good. That's a good idea before the new neighbor comes in. Could raise hell, you don't know. Craig Carlson, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Says, evening, Tom. Smash that like, or smash the likes, everyone. Or Army. Thank you so much, Craig. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a blessed evening so far. Let's see. So if we look at it from the 3-day, you can see some heavier liquidation around 284. Over the top, we've got some liquidation up here around 304 up to 308 approximately. You've got liquidation similar all the way from 292, heavier to 284, 283 area, all the way down. Let's look at it in the monthly first to kind of see if we can separate this volume. I mean, this liquidity. I think these are important things to do. Ooh, nice liquidity over the top. Look at that. Right around $3.16, we got a nice heavy liquidity area. That's good to see. That's definitely good to see. Let's see how it looks in the 2-weekly. So definitely the monthly, we've got some overhead pressure. A lot of overhead pressure. If we can get up to that $3.08 mark, 304 to 308, we do have some down here. I don't know. Is that going to be enough to sway it? There is some nice demand over above. That's good to see here with liquidity. I know you all seen this. That's a nice demand zone up here. Could it come up to 316? Or is that a bear flag formed right now? That's the question right now. Is that a bear flag on a head and shoulders, or is this destined to come up to 316? You know, and retest that area. Interesting. It's an interesting question, isn't it? Let's go into let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's heat map. Because we know where we've got some areas of concern if it breaks down and some excellent areas of opportunity if it breaks up. Ooh, fuck. That's an interesting one in the monthly. So Bitcoin came up towards some of these liquidity zones up over above. 770 at 113.8. You got around 114. 800 million. And then you can see down here, we've got a strong zone from 117 down to about 106. That's a pretty strong liquidity area right there as well. So we've got some pretty decent ones over above and below. So it's gonna be a guess here. You know, well, we're not gonna guess. We're gonna wait for the market to do what it needs to do. And put out the structure so we know if it breaks above or continues to fall where we would go in either direction. That's why I like to have both sides of town. You know, bearish or bullish, I'd like to know both sides. So that I know once it hits a certain area exactly what's going to happen. This is the 6-month chart, so let it gather its data real quick for liquidity. It takes a second. There's a lot of liquidity to dial up here. Yeah. That's my apples, my Granny Smith apples and stuff. Oops. Okay, is he still sleeping? Comfortably? Okay. I'll have you drive safe. I'll see when you get back. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, because he went to sleep only for like 3-4 hours before school. Maybe it doesn't want to load the 6th month. I'm not sure. Julie just went to drop off Scarlett at her dad's house. Not Michaela, too, though, because Michaela's off at college. I'm not trading futures, Craig. I haven't been trading futures for a little while. Pushing the wrong message. So I stay futures. Tab has crashed. Well, what the shit? I don't like that 3-month chart. Or the 6-month chart. At least we got to see it for a sec. But yeah, I prefer my audience to do spot. Now, I'm not telling you not to do leverage, but I'm not endorsing it. Just because there's a lot of shady market stuff going on. In the 3-month chart for Bitcoin, we can see that liquidity area is strong down here as well. Right around that 107. It makes sense because that 106.8 is quality is... Oh. Interesting. I do see. I don't understand why it went like that. Let's get off of that page. Yeah, I can definitely see that it switched to quality. I'm not sure. Why did that happen? I've done nothing else on my live, so maybe this is a good spot to end it. Yeah, I can see what happened. I don't know why it happened. If this doesn't work on a refresh, this will just be the end. So if this is our end... No, see, look how crappy that looks. What happened? Isn't that incredible how YouTube can do that? I don't understand. That looks horrible.